No Herculean effort by the present court can fix the due process violations of the last judge. This house must be torn down. A mistrial should be declared and retrial barred due to the prosecutorial and judicial misconduct that has goaded Yak Gotti into the present motion. This was actually just filed this morning, right before everything started. This is a supplement to motion for mistrial by Doug Weinstein, aka DeMonte Kendrick, aka Yak Gotti. And the reason this was filed, because as we just found out during the court proceedings, that there was another ex parte meeting that took place on June 7th. I don't know what the prosecution's doing. I don't know why they thought they could get away with this, but as I'm sure Mr. Weinstein is going to say, they forced his hand in this instance. He was giving them a huge benefit of the doubt and said that he feels like a fool for doing that. So let's see what he's saying here in this supplement to Yak Gotti's motion for mistrial. Comes now, Yak Gotti, by and through his undersigned counsel, and brings the supplement to motion for mistrial showing as follows. Outside agitator in a term that delegitimizes internal dissent against the status quo. So anyone who speaks up against the status quo, whether it is by definition an outsider, Professor Dylan Pendergroth, UC Berkeley. Judge Glanville making outrageous allegations against members of the defense team in this present case. But I think it does in some way outside agitators and everybody else who I think are trying to influence. The third ground argued in Kendrick's motion for mistrial is that Yak Gotti's due process rights were violated relating to the 14th Amendment due process violation, relating in part to Chief Judge Glanville wrongly coercing Little Woody to testify. Further evidence of the state and Judge Glanville's violation of Yak Gotti's due process rights has come to light. He's referring to the June 7th ex parte meeting. Yesterday after court, Yak Gotti received a rough transcript, Exhibit A. So we've got the transcript here, y'all. Oh man. Of an additional secret ex parte meeting with Judge Glanville held on Friday, June 7th, 2024. And this was the day, if you remember and go back, that Little Woody received his use immunity. The rough transcript was helpfully provided by this court to defense counsel. A reading of the rough transcript highlights that which has been obvious to all observers, except for Yak Gotti's counsel for the last 19 months. Basically, he's saying that everyone out here on YouTube was trying to tell y'all that Judge Glanville was messed up, and he gave him the benefit of the doubt. Judge Glanville has been willfully biased and acting as a member of the prosecution team since the inception of this case. So if y'all can't tell, Weinstein was pissed off in court. And now you can see it here in his motion, because he's using a lot of language that Brian Steele was using when he filed his multiple motions as well, saying that Judge Glanville was acting as a member of the prosecution team. So he's done holding back, and I'm sure he'll be on either a podcast or an X Spaces or another interview talking about this very thing. And Doug Weinstein, if you want to come up to the channel, feel free to do that at any time. Yak Gotti's counsel takes no pleasure in alerting this honorable court to this situation, but client obligations require it. Due process requires a fair trial. It is not a fair trial when in an ex parte meeting, Judge Glanville, Love, and Hilton gossip like, what is that? What is that word? At Yentas? I don't know. I don't even know what that means. Over 13 pages of transcript about attorneys Sharp, Melnick, and Steele. It is not a fair trial when in an ex parte meeting, Glanville, Love, and Hilton assassinate the character of attorney Melnick and attack his integrity, alleging that he is not acting in the best interest of his client, Lil Woody. It is not a fair trial when in an ex parte meeting, Glanville, Love, and Hilton attacked attorney Kayla Bumpus for allegedly hugging Yak Gotti and stating that she is incapable of representing Copeland. Yentas is what y'all are saying? Okay. I've never heard that term. Oh man, I'm sure Kayla wasn't happy about this. It is not a fair trial when in an ex parte meeting, Love lies to Glanville about an email she received from attorney Melnick. I'll be interested to see how Kayla responds to this, because she was walking the thin line when it came to Glanville, Love, and Hilton. She was saying, hey, I've got clients that I got to represent in Fulton County. I'm not really going to speak out against them, but now they're taking shots at Kayla. I'm sure she was not happy about this. So we'll have to see if she's responded to this yet, for sure. It is not a fair trial when in an ex parte meeting, Glanville starts talking about outside agitators, stating, my comments today were predicated on there's a lot of stuff that's going on in the background, and I shouldn't have to do anything with you all's case. It really shouldn't. It shouldn't have anything to do with y'all's case. It really shouldn't. But I think it does in some way. Outside agitators. It is not a fair trial when in an ex parte meeting, Glanville and Love have the following outrageous conversation. Judge Glanville. But I think it does in some way. Outside agitators. Miss Love. That too. Judge Glanville and everybody else who I think are trying to influence. Miss Love. That is absolutely happening. And this is the rough transcript, page 11 through 12. It is not a fair trial when Glanville, Love, and Hilton have this further discussion. Hilton, there's a lot going on. Love, there is a presence. Yes. That's all. That is all I'll say. Judge Glanville, I mean, but I see it from just being in the courtroom and tracking. Oh. Man. This is bad. How many violations of Georgia Code of Judicial Conduct does it take to get a mistrial with prejudice? This case is like an old house that represents honorable judge and is tasked with renovating. Hold on a second. This case is like an old house that the present honorable judge is tasked with renovating. Excuse me. Every time a piece of pasted up wallpaper is removed, more rot is found hidden underneath. No Herculean effort by the present court can fix the due process violations of the last judge. This house must be torn down. A mistrial should be declared and retrial barred due to the prosecutorial and judicial misconduct that has goaded Yak Gotti into the present motion. I told y'all, Doug Weinstein's trying to keep things straightforward. He thinks he can win this case, and I think he will as well. He's saying, I didn't want to do this. Y'all are making and forcing me to do this. Wherefore, Kendrick respectfully continues his request that this honorable court declare a mistrial based on at least due process violations of Kendrick's constitutional rights under the federal constitution and the constitution of the state of Georgia. This, the 31st day of July 2024, Doug Weinstein, aka Yak Gotti, aka Mr. Kendrick. So y'all have to let me know what you think about this one. We're going to go on to read and cover and see what's going on with this roughed transcript, as they call it. So we'll review that in another video, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens moving forward, because if what they're saying and what they're alleging in this is true, it's going to be just another major blow to the prosecution. And I don't see how Love and Hilton can stay on this. I'm just not seeing it, because they've made so many missteps, done so many things out of line. And as we even heard Judge Whitaker say herself to Miss Love, when I say that I want everybody in this courtroom to behave accordingly and to behave professionally, I'm not just talking about the defense. I'm talking about you. And we've seen here, I don't even know if it's possible, which again, it makes you wonder, is this the first time? Is this because they've just been continuing to get away with this and get away with this? And now that the light's being shown on this dark area of the Fulton County justice system, you guys let me know what you think in the comments.